Good morning, friends. I am so glad that you are with me here for another week. I hope you enjoyed yesterday with your family and that you got to do just something special as a family together and spend some time with one another. All right, so this week we have 4 days that we are working together since yesterday was a holiday. Last week we talked about kindness and empathy, and we learned what that meant, how to do it, and then we talked about a scripture to go along with it. So we're going to do the same thing this week, except this week we're going to talk about self-control. Self-control. All right. So self-control means slowing down, thinking, and making a good choice before you act. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Slowing down, thinking, and making a good choice before you act. All right? Sometimes self-control is not very easy to have because people make us frustrated or mad, and then you do something that you shouldn't do. So that's why it's saying self-control is stopping and thinking, slowing down, and making a good choice. Okay? All right, so I have a scripture for you today. I'll have a new scripture every day for you this week because God talks about self-control in the Bible. And then we're going to look at our Bible story. All right, so the scripture today is Galatians 5:22, but the 22 and 23, sorry. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, what we're talking about. Against such things, there is no law. All right, so I've got my Bible here, and I'm going to read to you our Bible story. This is the story. It's found in the book of Matthew, which is in the New Testament, and it's found in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11, and it is when Jesus is tempted. Okay, so this is not a story that we've done so far this year, so it's a new one. All right, so here we go. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." Jesus answered, "It is written, man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and let him stand on the highest point of the temple. "If you are the Son of God," he said, "throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." Jesus answered him, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their splendor. "All this I will give to you," he said, "if you will bow down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." All right, so let's talk about this story. This is kind of a little bit of a difficult story. So let's talk about some questions first, okay? Why was Jesus hungry? It says that he fasted. What does that mean? Okay, I'll read that scripture to you again. It says, "Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry." What does it mean to fast? Okay, if you're fasting for something, it means you're abstaining for something or not doing something. So he was fasting from eating and drinking. He was not eating and drinking for those 40 days and 40 nights. He was focused on something that he was putting all of his attention on. Okay, that's what fasting means. So he was hungry because he hadn't had anything to eat or drink that whole 40 days. Okay. What else? Let's talk about some other things. What things did Satan ask Jesus to do in this story? There were 3 things that he tempted him with in this story. He tempted him with turning the stones to bread. He tempted him with, he took him to the holy city and had him stand at the highest point, and then he said, throw himself down. And then what was the last thing he tempted himself with? Bowing down and worshiping Satan, right? Okay, so he tempted him with those 3 things. Now, how does Jesus reply to Satan every time? Where does his words come from? Because every time he has an answer. In each temptation, he has an answer. So for the first one, he says, man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. The second one, Jesus says, it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test. So you notice every time that he gives an answer, he says, it is written, because the answers that he's given are coming from other parts of the Bible. Okay, so he's quoting other scripture. All right, now what happens after Satan leaves? Do you remember? I'll read it to you. Jesus said, away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. So that was what his answer was to the last temptation. Then the devil left him, and the angels came and attended him. So the angels came and surrounded Jesus. Why do you think Jesus allowed himself to be tempted by Satan? This is a great question, and I want you to answer your mom and dad. Okay? All right. Now, what you get to do today is a little story comic. So it says, what happened in the Bible story we read today? Draw the events in the template below. So I want you, have you ever seen what a comic strip is? It's like each picture goes together and it tells the story. If you don't know what a comic strip is, ask your mom or dad to see an example of one and they can show you a picture, okay? But that's what I want you to do. I want you to make a comic strip of this story, all right? Okay, have fun, and I will see you tomorrow.